Hey there! Welcome to a brand new episode of Muzikxpress. My name is Twan, and in this week's vlog you will see my interview with Paul Oakenfold about the Planet Perfecto featuring Grace classic Not Over Yet. But before we start with the interview, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, and very important, also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. And if you enjoy my interviews and you want to support Muzikxpress, you can do that via one of the links in the video description. Every donation is very much appreciated. Alright, here it is, the story behind Not Over Yet by Planet Perfecto featuring Grace, my interview with Paul Oakenfold. Enjoy! Paul Oakenfold is a man who probably doesn't need an introduction. He's active in the music scene since the 1980s, and during the years he was responsible for lots of hits, remixes, mixed compilations and DJ sets all over the world. In my previous interview with Paul, we already spoke about the story behind Southern Sun, but this time I sat down with him to ask him about one of his older releases, Not Over Yet, a track which first came out in 1993 under the project name State of Grace. Then in 1995 it got re-released with Grace as artist name, and 4 years later in 1999 Not Over Yet came out again, but this time as Planet Perfecto featuring Grace. Not Over Yet is a track made by Paul Oakenfold and Steve Osborne together with Rob Davis and Wyzgowski. My first question to Paul was if he did remember how he got to meet with Rob and Tash.
I do, actually. I first met Rob through a gentleman called Brian Reeser, who was his manager. Rob's a wonderful man. He was in a very successful British pop band called Mud.
Oh, Mud, yeah.
Yeah. It brings a smile to my face because he had really long hair and he had flares and was in that British movement at that time. Mud, Slade, Sweet, all these kind of bands. And I worked on a few ideas with Rob. He put us together in the studio at Rob's house in Epsom, and our relationship grew from there. We're still friends today. He joins me in EB for most years, and great man. And Rob then introduced me to Mike.
Yeah. So were you guys inspired by something when you started to work on Not Over Yet?
Well, at that time, dance music was, this is in the early 90s. Dance music was starting to become very popular in Britain. I mean, it was more of a movement. The youth culture of that day was becoming club culture. Dance music was spreading all over the UK, and we were looking to make dance records that with strong songs, uplifting melodies and great beats. And that's where mine and primarily Rob's relationship started.
So yeah, the 1993 version, that release contained vocals by singer Patty Lowe. Do you remember meeting her?
Yeah, so Rob brought Patty to the table. He knew her. She was her voice was perfect for that record at the time. So we recorded it with her, and it came out as State of Grace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think most people know it as Grace or like Planet
Perfecto.
Yeah,
the name's changed over the years, but it originally came out as State of Grace. See, in that period, producers, songwriters, engineers, and that's what we were. We were a collective. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really want to put the records out under my name. I was more about me just being the DJ and us as a collective of producers putting out songs. So our name was State of Grace.
Yeah, and I think Steve Osborne was also involved.
And then I met Steve, who, in my opinion, is one of the best producers ever.
because I mean, you did like a lot of things together.
I love Steve. I learned so much from Steve, and he's just an extraordinary talent. And Brian put us together again, and Brian ended up managing all of us. And me and Steve went off, and we had just a great understanding, a great musical understanding, and I learned a lot from him. And yeah, we then moved on and did Grace, Not Over Yet.
So what do you remember from the production process of Not Over Yet?
Well, with our setup and the way we approach music was, we'd take a long time. I mean, it's this day and age, you're doing remixes, you can do them in a couple of days tops. We would spend 5 days, a whole week, working long hours on getting the right sound, the arrangement. If we weren't happy with it, obviously then I would play it out and see if it worked. I mean, there was a real process to making music back in the day, and there isn't now, unfortunately. I think that's why we're just swamped with music. There's just too much music. I mean, on average, it's like 20,000 dance records a week now.
Yeah, if you go on Spotify or Beatport every week,
It's just too much, and it's because technology has made it so easy, and the quality has dropped. And you can hear that even when I'm playing music out, and you'll play one track from someone and the sound will be great, and then you'll go into a mix of the next track that someone else has done, and the quality is terrible, and you're changing the volume and the levels, and you either give up playing that music or you go back to them and say, look, you know, your quality is not good enough. So Steve and I, we would spend a long time in the studio working on a record.
So how long did you spend on Not Over Yet?
A week. 10 hours a day.
Oh, long days.
Long days. We would work long days. I mean, we start at sometimes we'd start at midday. Sometimes I'd still be in the studio at 2 in the morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, this was enjoyable. I mean, we loved it. And then we may stop 3 days in and go, the drums still ain't right, and redo it all again. That was our process. It was a really enjoyable working process. And the reason why we kept going back to Grace was we were always quite near the mark on Grace, because it would come out, we'd get support from the fellow DJs, we'd get support from specialist radio, and it would get to such a point back in the day in the charts, pop charts, that it just wouldn't quite make it. You wouldn't get Radio 1 or something happened. So then we would go back years later and redo it, because there became a demand for the record.
Yeah, that was in 1995. That was then it came out as Grace.
And then that
was the reason.
But yeah, there was a demand for it. People keep coming up and saying, you should re-release this, get new mixes on it. Times change, dance music is more popular, it's growing globally. So that's what we did. We then were like, okay, it's Grace now, and now we re-release it.
Yeah, but then you also used like a new vocalist. That was Dominique Atkins. So how did she get involved with the project?
So Dominique, we now had a setup and a sound, and we needed a front person. And we looked around, we came across Dominique, a lovely lady, and we felt she was right to be the front singer for Grace, because by this time we were writing follow-ups. Grace was an act.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable, because we put that record out and we got on the bill to support Michael Jackson at Wembley Stadium.
Wow.
So Grace was one of the opening acts for Michael Jackson at Wembley.
Oh wow! I know you used to open for U2 and Madonna.
Yeah.
How about the Michael Jackson?
Well, I didn't open for Michael Jackson. Grace did. So she
I assume you were there.
Oh no, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there very much so. But she came on stage, she sang, and she done a great job.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I was touring with U2 or many tours with Madonna, it was me DJing. This was her performing.
Yeah. So you already said like you guys released it with new remixes. The remixes were done by yourself, Dancing Divas and BT. So did you usually pick the remixes, or how was this decided?
No, I picked the remixes. BT's version is great.
Yeah.
And BT we signed to our label. Then if I wanted to get another remix done, you don't have to be signed to Perfecto, but we'd try and keep it within the family to help and support one another.
Yeah, smart move. So yeah, the 1995 version peaked at the number 6 position of the UK singles chart. It was even a number 1 hit in the US Billboard Hot Dance Music Club Play chart. In Ireland it became number 4, and also in Iceland and Sweden the track made it into the charts. So you guys were also asked to do the track on Top of the Pops, and the track got a lot of radio airplay as well. So did you expect that the re-release would do so well?
Did I expect the re-release to do so well? No. But it felt that the time was finally right for that record, because as I said earlier, there was a demand for it, people were asking for it, and the record needed to be freshened up because technology had changed. We needed musically to make it better.
Yeah. So yeah, then in 1999, Not Over Yet got another re-release, but this time the track came out as Planet Perfecto featuring Grace. So why again a change of the project name? It's so complicated, Paul. Why?
So, that's a good question. We were looking at building another brand. Planet Perfecto is a brand in its own right. It's a radio show to 17 million people worldwide. It's released music under the name, and we wanted to release more music under Planet Perfecto. We had commercial ideas that were too commercial for me, but they were commercial ideas that we felt would work in the pop dance world. And at that time, your credibility needed to be intact. So I couldn't put out a record that was a bit too pop. Now it doesn't matter. Yeah, everyone does. Yeah. You can release, you can do an Afrobeat record today, a pop dance record tomorrow, a techno record. Now times have changed. But back then, you had to really focus on your credibility. So we were like, okay, we got Grace. We've got to come up with another name. Well, then we've got Planet Perfecto. We've got Perfecto Nights. We've got all these names are affiliated with the label. If you're an artist and you want to do a commercial record on our label, you can put it out, you can release it under our brand. So we felt this was a good avenue for Perfecto and for Grace. Let's put it out again.
Yeah. Yeah, the 1999 version had some great remixes from the likes of Matt Derry, who we actually met yesterday.
Yeah, we love Matt Derry, and we saw him yesterday. He done a great version.
And so a Breeder also did a remix. So
Breeder's mix was really good.
Yeah, I guess you picked the remixes again.
Yeah, so Breeder came for a friend, and Matt Derry I was a fan of.
Yeah. So which version do you, if you play it now, which version do you play in your sets?
The brand new version that I done.
Yeah. Can you tell a bit more about it?
Yeah. So where we are now in the dance industry, we're very much in the 90s. A lot of the new generation of DJ producers are sampling from the 90s, from these big 90s trance tunes.
Yes.
And it's very interesting because it's trance, but it's being called melodic techno or progressive I mean, come on. I mean, they're calling techno, which is psy trance, they're calling that. You know, there's so many names where there doesn't need to be. But the point is, because we're looking back at the 90s and Perfecto has got a lot of classics, people are coming to us again, and it all stems from people coming to us saying, can we sample it? Can we re-release it? Can we do a remix of it? Now, we've also got a rock version of Grace, but which is called Not Over Yet. That's currently out.
Yeah.
There's just a straight cover version.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were approached to do a new version, and I was like, well, you know, maybe not at this moment. And then times changed. Everyone's talking about the 90s. We've got a new deal with Armada, and we felt that it was the right thing now to look back at our catalogue and look at all these big hits that we had and freshen them up for the new generation and get the new generation to be a part of them in some shape and form. So PPK is now with Kimmick, which is a Dutch duo, and we got a vocal on it, and it's just been released and doing well. And then my classic Grace, I was like, okay, so who do I like? Who am I a fan of? And let's see if there's a great collaboration. So London Grammar were approached, and it will come out now as me and London Grammar as a collaboration doing a cover of Grace, Not Over Yet, which is a song that we originally wrote. So that's the idea.
Yeah, so when is it coming out?
We're just finishing up the production now, and we have not got a release date set yet. But we're still
in the works.
It's in the works,
Okay.
and you heard it here first.
So I guess Not Over Yet is also in the top 5 of Perfecto releases ever, the best sold ones.
It is. It sold over 400,000 singles. So it's been a big record for us.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of Perfecto, this year you're celebrating 35 years of Perfecto Records. So what kind of things do you have in the works for the anniversary?
Yeah, so the Perfecto Records 35-year anniversary, as I've been touching on, a lot of the classics being remixed, reissued. We're looking early next year of doing a tour, playing these classics, and just celebrating the label and moving forward. We got a documentary that we just finished, which we got a lot of my colleagues talking about the label and what it means to them, and it's looking good.
And anything like a physical release, like for the vinyl collectors, maybe a box set or something?
I think we will look at that next year.
Yeah. That sounds good. So what else are you working on right now?
I'm just touring, really enjoying being back in Europe, making a lot of underground music. Also, a lot of I released an album 10 years ago called Transmission.
Yeah.
And it did extremely well. Another big album for me. And we've been talking internally of choosing again some of my favorite records that are not mine, that are other people's that I played, and then me doing a cover version of those, like I did on Transmission.
I think your version of Café Del Mar did really well.
Yeah, that record did big units.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that at the moment.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much, and good luck with everything.
Thank you very much, and good to see you as always.
Thank you.
Alright, that was it. This week's vlog, the story behind Not Over Yet by Planet Perfecto featuring Grace, my interview with Paul Oakenfold. Paul, thanks a lot for your time, much appreciated. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and very important, make sure to subscribe. Also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. And in the past I did another interview with Paul, and in that video you will see the story behind Southern Sun, another big classic done by Paul Oakenfold. So make sure to check it out. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.